Dr. Shai Deyaba, sign-up services. I'm here to talk about psychosocial support. Is it time? Psychosocial support for internally displaced persons. IDPs, I think there are people here that can tell us more about the IDP. So I won't bore us with the statistics, but it's a sad reality. Interestingly or sadly, the problems, not across the ones that bother us the most in mental health is the age group of people that relay stories. These stories were from Human Rights Watch. And we have this is the story of a 25-year-old woman who fled Boko Haram attack, went to live with her brother. The brother couldn't fend for her, threw her out, and felt it was better for her to go live in the camps. She was at the camp. The so-called camp elder decided he was going to take care of her and marry her as an additional wife. After a while, she got pregnant, had twins, and he felt he couldn't care for her anymore, and he abandoned her. And the part that bothers us is the fact where she says, if I have a gun, I will shoot him. It is because of him that people call me and my baby's names. I am so ashamed that I cannot participate in camp activities and keep to myself because of the jails. If she had a gun, she would kill him. Homicide. She keeps to herself, brewing depression. You have an 18-year-old girl who said she met someone who offered her a house outside of the IDP camp, seemingly a better life for her. But then she got pregnant, they went to the hospital, the man decided, okay, I'll accept the pregnancy. Immediately they came out of the clinic, he took her to a quack to abort the pregnancy. And because she refused, he abandoned her. Now she has to go out to camp to beg to survive. That is another client on the streets. This one is a 32-year-old woman from Damasak. She says, life is terrible here in the camp. For the past 3 days, we have not eaten because there is no firewood to cook the food. To make it worse, they will not even allow us to go out to fend for ourselves. Most times, you have to beg the camp officials to intervene with the guards before they will give you the pass to go out. Why would you refuse if any of those people ask you for marriage? You have to survive. And I ask, why the restricted movement? I'm still trying to understand the rationale behind the restricted movement. There are so many other stories. A 30-year-old woman, a 16-year-old rape survivor. She said she was always thinking about death and wished she had the courage to kill herself. This is a case of severe depression with suicidal ideation. This is a teenager. A 28-year-old woman who survived rape and became pregnant by a Boko Haram insurgent says she developed hypertension from constantly thinking about her ordeal and imagining ways she could take revenge on him. Doctors have told her during hospital visits outside the camp to stop thinking about the past so she can get better. She was not referred to a counselor. These are doctors who are supposed to understand her plight. A doctor telling a woman who is obviously depressed, who is having hypertension, shake it off and forget about it. If it were that easy, we won't have cases of depression around. The statistics, the epidemiologists will give us better statistics, but I got this from the Office of Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. 6.5 million in need of life-saving assistance in northeast Nigeria, 5.2 million in need of food assistance in Adamawa, Borno, and Yola alone, 2 million suffering from moderate to severe malnutrition, 1.9 million displaced people in Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, and Yola. What are the general problems of these IDP camps? General dissatisfaction with living conditions. We all know that they don't particularly have houses. They just have shanties, roofs over their heads, some sticks to form the walls and all that. General distress, lack of security, unemployment. The public and physical health problems, waste disposal, absence of potable water, and poor housing. Because this predisposes them to infectious diseases, cholera, tuberculosis, meningitis, diarrhea, what have you. And non-communicable ones, hypertension, diabetes, stroke. What are the mental health issues? This is the one that interests me. I always say there is no health without mental health. The problems we have range from anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, substance use disorder, rape, incest, promiscuity, social dysfunction, and deviant behavior. Because of the way they live, some of them are offered money for sex. Some of them are offered things that are basic necessities of life: food, clean drinking water, for sex. Rape cases are things that we all know. Incest, because people need to satisfy their natural urges, even with family members. Social dysfunction, they just become, there is no proper home structure. They learn from whoever they meet in the camp. We have a lot of the young men and boys dabbling into drug abuse because of the way of life in those places. So I ask, are we doing enough? Most of the intervention ranges from relief materials. Every organization just carries food, used clothes. During Ramadan, we carry provision. During Christmas, we carry clothes. When we decide we want to, improve education in that place, we say, okay, we're setting up a classroom, and then we carry some exercise books there and all that. Some organizations offer psychological support, but how much psychological support? How many people can you see? We know how much psychotherapy entails. To offer proper psychological therapy, you need at least 30 to 45 minutes per individual. You have millions of people in these camps. It's not the same for you to gather people and say, this is the situation, and just, that's like advising people. That's not psychological support. Record keeping. I see statistics most times, I don't swallow them because I'm wondering, are these figures correct? Then data analysis, are we analyzing the data correctly? I say deliberate action is key. We need to take action. We need to do something that will say, okay, we have made impact. We don't just sit down and talk. How do we make this impact? Synergy. We synergize. NGO A has relief materials. NGO B has psychological prowess. NGO C has free drugs to give. So rather than you decide, okay, on this day I'm going to just give drugs, and I have 500 drugs to give, and I give it to the camp officials, and I say, okay, please distribute this drugs. And then 2 years later, another NGO says, okay, on this day, because it's our president's birthday, we're going to donate 200 drugs. Why don't you just come together and say, okay, I have 500 cartons of anti-malaria, you have 400, let's go to this camp and know that we have taken care of all 1 million people in this camp. So we know that next time we're going to another camp. For example, that's where synergy comes in. You synergize so that the impact is more, cost is less. What to do? Do we sit down with carry out the binocular approach, sit down from there and point out, we're supposed to do this, we're supposed to do that, no, let's do that, this person is not doing this right? Or do we sit down and critically analyze what the needs of these people are? We should understand their psychosocial needs. Most of these people don't want to be fed. They are tired of receiving relief materials. There are IDP camps that we've been to that they actually boo the people bringing the donation because they feel people are feeding on their misfortune. You carry these things and they send you away. But sit with them and ask, what are your immediate problems? What are your immediate problems? Let them be the ones to tell you, these are our immediate needs. You can carry clothes to them and then they're hungry. They don't even understand, they don't see the need for new clothes when they've not seen food to eat. We should provide direct psychosocial activities, interventions based on the needs assessment. Direct. No more policies. We should write a proposal to, we think, blah, 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 we have had a meeting, and this is the communique. It does not work. We all know that it doesn't work. We should enhance the capacity of other actors to respond to the needs of these people. Again, synergy. Awareness, enlightenment, education, it cannot be overemphasized. But especially left that as the last point because you need the people to even be willing to listen to you before you carry out any advocacy. So I ask, is it a new dawn? The answer is with you and I. So let's discuss. What will be different this time? But most importantly, let's act. Thank you very much.
I think she has really done mental analysis on all of us. By asking us what we want to do. So anyone wants to make a contributor, a question? Okay. So I'll start from this side of the room.
Thank you, Doctor, for that awesome presentation. I'll say I really agree with you on the synergy because I've noticed that even during intervention, not everybody is trained on intervention. You don't know how to intervene when it's an infant, when it's a teenager, when it's an old person. So I think organizations too should just not go and maybe it's good everybody's coming together, maybe review materials, but it's not much of the review, dropping the review materials in the head of the camp, help them actually in intervention, monitor that and actually see that it solves a problem in the camp.
Well, I just wanted to contribute more in what said. Okay, based on experience, practical experience, some of these problems we encountered, like in the Bakassi camp in Borno State when we went, we took some relief materials and then it was targeted towards, giving out social support. But again, in these camps, the government officials keep these things to themselves. When we brought it, they said we would share it, to the displaced persons. But we later realized that it was going to be difficult, and they were not happy because we decided we were going to share whatever we brought in ourselves. It was a problem. Now, secondly, during psychosocial support, you're sitting down with people who have problems. The moment they understand or realize that there are relief materials that are brought into the camp, they jump up and leave you there. I was having a therapy with a lady who was an addict. Immediately she had the relief materials were brought to the camp. She left me sitting there. I was trying to call her back. She was like, no, this is not important. What I need is Ankao Abinchi. They brought food and that's what she's after. So the key thing is advocacy and awareness. We have to really work in this camp. People have to be ready and willing to go for advocacy visits, giving enough awareness for these people to understand the difference between psychosocial support and not just material support. So if we do that, it will actually go a long way to strengthening that.
Mine's a quick question. Please, you mentioned something about training stakeholders who actually render such support. And I'd like to know, do you have any idea where we can get such? Because my organization has been doing interventions in Kaduna State, Southern Kaduna, on those issues. And so I was just sharing it with Anna a while ago that we actually need that capacity in our organization. So is there anywhere you can suggest or hit that more?
Okay, so you have 30 seconds each, please. We still have 5 presentations to take before quarter to 1.
IDP, but notwithstanding, created services have been going on in most of the towns, but there are a lot of challenges based on how they do need the services. But most importantly, I would like us to channel our attention to services to IDPs living in host communities. So maybe we'll take statistics later, we'll discuss more on that.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Actually, mine is a contribution, and I want to draw our attention on. You see, majority of these victims are women and children, widows and orphans. And again, the biggest lesson we shall all learn here is that in a crisis like this, the men died, and they left both the women and children with the burden of life. And in our presentation, she has said these issues around rape, child trafficking, and all of that. Disease as well, issue around HIV. You have had the number of HIV infections in Borno State as of last year. So these are issues where we can come together to see how we can address this challenge. It is all our own responsibility. We should not be talking about government or international community. These are our people. Let's see how we can come together and address this issue. Thank you.
I have just one question.
Yeah.
Sorry, your question was how to train
Capacity building.
Opportunities
Okay,
for
I said
capacity.
enhance the capacity of other actors to respond to the needs of these people.
Yes.
I'm also looking for training. We have epidemiologists, okay? And then when you're talking about in what aspect are you talking about now? To render psychosocial support?
Because usually when you go there, you meet with them, you want to talk with them, you want to engage them in, to talk about their situation and how they can help themselves,
Okay, then
out of it.
I think you can meet Mr. Alex. He's a clinical psychologist. He can link you up. There are usually trainings that go on counseling and all that. He can help you.
I think in addendum, just to I think Jamuje can look into this issue and see how possible we can identify maybe CSOs working in organize the training for them.
It's one of their key areas, and they've been training counselors and cases caregivers.
Counselors are different. CSOs are on ground. They don't need to be paid to do something.
I mean, CSOs, caregivers. You can be a CSO and you're a counselor.
Okay.
Not just government paid counselor or something, or somebody on payroll. So they do it on case, very substantial case.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I think she's done. Can we give her a round of applause?